So this series of shiurim on Tefila, and the essence of Tefila, and the details, the fundamentals of Tefila, is dedicated to Ilui Nishmas Rav Aryeh Leib David ben Reb Yaakov, the late father of our dear friend Reb Hillel. And tonight's shir has been especially sponsored Ilui Nishmas Reb Shabsai ben Reb Shloime, Mr. Shep Gersberg. The name of our kollel is Zichron Shabsai in his memory, and the founder of the kollel is his son Jonathan, who was a wonderful young man, who was a great Baal Chesed, and he is the founder of the kollel. And tonight's shir is actually a Yortzeit shir. His Yortzeit was a few days ago, and the shir was supposed to be at his Yortzeit, but I just couldn't make it. I didn't feel well. So the Torah we learned tonight should be Leilui Nishmosai Shel Reb Shabsai ben Reb Shloime and Rav Aryeh Leib David ben Reb Yaakov. They were mechutonim and good friends, so I'm sure they'll be happy to share the schus of tonight's shir. So in our last session we spoke about the essence of Tefillah and the importance of Tefillah and the total conviction that our Tefillahs never go in vain. And today I would like to come closer to the details of Tefillah. But before we start analyzing and studying in a more substantial way the Seder HaTefillah, one more general idea I think it is important to speak about. So Rabbeinu Yoina, in his unbelievable biur in Sefer Mishlei, on a very famous posek that we all know, in Perek Gimel, posek Vav, B'chol drochechu deyehu, v'hu yiyasha orchosecha. So the Rambam's interpretation in Hilchas Deis is B'chol drochechu deyehu, emphasizing B'chol adrochim, that whatever a person does could be part of his avodas Hashem. And we are expected to serve the Kodesh Baruch Hu not only with our tefillin and our tzitzis, with your hat, whether it's a shtreimel or not, with your suit, whether it's a kapita or a frack or a sports jacket. It's all the same. And whatever you have and whatever you do, everything could be part of your avodas Hashem. And the Rambam explains, when a person eats, not merely because he enjoys his food, and not merely because he's hungry and he must eat, but with clear intention. Why are we around? What are we doing here? We need to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's our purpose, that's our duty, and that is why we're around, and therefore we must eat, because we must sustain our health and our bodies to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the same with drinking, and the same with all the basic activities human beings must engage in. Everything could be part of our service to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, of our avodas Hashem. And the Rambam says, "V'nimtzo ha'hoylech b'derech zeh oived es Hashem kol yomov." He's an oived Elokim all day and all night, every moment of his life. And the Rambam's interpretation is based, obviously, on the Gemara Sof Masechet Brochos, Eiza Parsha Ketana Shekol Gufay Torah Tluyim Bo, B'chol Deroichechu Deyehu. That's the Gemara in Brochos Samach Gimel. But Rabbeinu Yoina comes up with a different interpretation, and Rabbeinu Yoina says there are some people that remember a Kodesh Baruch Hu only when they are standing before very fateful decisions, very major decisions. A person has to leave his home and he embarks on a dangerous journey, or a person invests all his money in some financial investment, and then people remember a Kodesh Baruch Hu. They have a munah, but the Kodesh Baruch Hu isn't part of their daily existence, of their daily routine. The Rabbeinu Yoina says that is a mistake. B'chol drochecho dayehu. And quoting the Lashon of Rabbeinu Yoina, B'kol poyel asher ta'aseh. Anything you do, anything you're busy with, anything you're engaged with, B'chol poyel asher tevakesh la'aseh, Zechoyres Hashem Yisborach. Remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu in everything you do, because in reality you can't really get anywhere without HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Rabbeinu Yonah says, B'chol drochechu deyehu v'hu yasher orchesechu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be part of our daily routine, part of our day-to-day lives, and part of everything. And we should turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all our needs. B'chol poyel asher tevakesh la'aseh zechoyres Hashem Yisborach. We need to remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to thank Him, to plead with Him, to ask for His siyata d'shmaya, for His guidance and His help, and that is how a person achieves closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that is the Sgula, V'hu yiyasher orchesechu. So for many years I was contemplating when this is a machlokes between the giants of our forefathers. So Rabbeinu Yonah suggests that Pshat b'chol drochechu deyehu v'hu yasher orchesechu. The Mabit has a very important sefer Beis Elokim. Might there be a Beis Elokim in this Beis Medrash? So one of the Choshev Sforim that the Mabit wrote, and the Mabit was, in the time of the Beis Yosef, and a Sharet Tefila, in the very beginning, Perek Aleph and Sharet Tefila, in Beis Elokim of the Mabit writes that a person should not bother HaKadosh Baruch Hu as long as he could get along on his own. And you're not supposed to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for things that are not really attainable. And the Mabit is mefarish the Posuk, Havolano Ezras Mitzar V'Shav Tshuas Odom. It is only when Shav Tshuas Odom and people cannot help you, and you really cannot do it on your own, it is then that we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we ask, Havalono Ezras Mitzar V'Shav Tshuas Odom. So the Mabit seems to say, as long as you could get along and you have enough food to eat, and there's bread on the table, and you're working, then you shouldn't turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You shouldn't bother HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and don't burden Him if you don't really need to do so. Does that contradict what Rabbeinu Yonah says, what we just quoted from Rabbeinu Yonah? If it does, then I think probably halacha ke Rabbeinu Yonah. Not only because Rabbeinu Yonah was earlier than the Mabit, and we have a klal halachic b'sor, but it is only if the Achronim saw the Rishonim and quote the Rishonim and decide differently. But the Mabit doesn't bring Rabbeinu Yonah, and so the halacha would be kekamua velo kebasroi. So the Mabit says, why burden the king? V'sholosh shuvas b'dover. Maybe it isn't right to burden a king, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not only a king, He's a father, and not only a king. So before you turn to the king, before you turn to the president, to the mayor, to your senator, or people of power, then, if you don't need to, you don't do so. But a child could always turn to his father. It doesn't have to be a matter of extreme importance. And many times I said, and it's written in my Sefer Minchas Osha and Yom Neroim, in our Tefillas, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we say, Ovinu Malkeinu, in all our Bakoshes of the Yom Neroim and Ases Yom Tshuva. So what is the essence of these two magic words, Ovinu Malkeinu? So I think, and this is what I teach my Talmidim because it's such an appealing and such a push at the kavana that everybody could be mechaven. Whoever wants to help anyone more than a father would like to help his children, but most fathers have limited means. He would like to help. I'm sure each and every one of you would like to give each and every one of his children an apartment in Yerushalayim, right? Who wouldn't? But we are of limited means, but nobody would like to help anyone in the world more than a father would like to help his children. But there's a limit to what we can do for our children. Who has the ability to help other people more than a king? But not always does he have the incentive. Not always does he have the interest to help others. He could. I mean, he's the king. All the riches of the state are at his disposal, but he needs to want to help. So we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in times of need, and we say to Bnei Shalom, you want to give, you're a father. You could give, you're a king. And you're not merely a king. Everything is yours. Ein biyodai matzah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a koil yochel. So we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's the problem? You want to help because you're a father. You have the ability because you're a king. Mi'ma'akev. It is only we. We would only open up our hearts and come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and daven as he expects us to daven, and then we would have everything. So I say, the Mabit might be right in principle. Why burden the king if you could do it on your own? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not only a king, he's a father. The other argument would be, why burden? Nobody could burden HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nobody could bother HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot be burdened, he cannot be bothered. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves to be bothered. And he asked us, please bother me. And that is the mitzvah of Tefillah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please, yes, he likes to be bothered, he likes to be pestered. And that is why he gave us the mitzvah of Tefillah. And the Tshuvas Rashba, very, very famous Tshuvas Rashba, and the Rashba explains the essence of Tefillah. The Rashba and Tshuvas Rashba, Chelek Eis, Nun and Nun Aleph. The Rashba was asked by one of his Talmidim to explain what are the brochas all about, brochas and tefillas. So, does HaKadosh Baruch Hu need our tefillas? HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs nothing. One of the basic yesodis in Amunah is that only one that lacks needs. One that doesn't lack has no needs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need anything. So what are the tefillas about? Cannot HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us without our tefillas? And the Rashba writes that brocha and brecha are the same shoresh. And brecha means a well that supplies water, and as much water as we take out, it is always replenished and it always comes back. And the Rashba explains that is Mesoidis Abriya. And that is the way the Kodesh Baruch Hu built this world. You know, the Teva Haruchni of the world is that our tefillas are ma'orer. They are ma'orer. They go to the heavens and they are ma'orer Shefa Elyon, like a brecha. So that is what tefillah is all about. That is what brochas are all about. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to turn to him. And nobody could overburden HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Basorim Amoris Nivra Oilam. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows no trouble, knows no strain, knows no effort. So the Mabit might be right. You don't burden a king if you don't need to. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a father before he's a king, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot be burdened. And the third point is, if you don't need to, why bother? But you do need to. You do need to, because it's an illusion. If we sometimes think that we could make it out of it, that is an illusion, and it's a terrible mistake. And everything is Hashgacha Protis. Maybe at some other stage we will deal more with a profound idea of Hashgacha Protis, but that is exactly what Rabbeinu Yonah comes to explain when he says, V'chol drochechu dayehu. If you feel that you make it on your own, that is a terrible mistake. No one does anything on his own. And whatever we have only at the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Berachamei Shamayim. So for three different reasons, I think Rabbeinu Yonah will be right when he says, "B'chol derochechu dayehu v'hu yiyasher orchosechu." And when I once again examined the lashon of the Mamet, and I have the Beis Elokim right here, but I don't seem to find it. But to the best of my memory, and quoting the lashon of the Mavet that I brought in my sefer, the Mavet says that when a person could make it b'derech hateva, yes, here it is. כי כשאנחנו יכולים להושיע עצמנו בדרך הטבע, לא נבקש מהשם שיעשה לנו נפלויס ושיושיע לנו מן הצער. And I think the point the Mabit means to say is, if you could do it b'derech hateva, then why ask for nisim v'neflos? Asking for nisim is only when b'derech hateva you can't make it. But if you could do your hishtadlus, then that is what you have to do. כשאנחנו יכולים להושיע עצמנו בדרך הטבע, לא נבקש מהשם שיעשה לנו נפלויס ושיעזור לנו מן הצער. And I think what the Mabit actually means to say is, you need to do your hishtadlus. Of course you need to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that your hishtadlus should be matzliach. And you need the basic awareness that without Siyata D'Shmaya, it is impossible. But you don't stand and ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for nisim, for neflois, if you didn't fulfill your chayvus hishtadlus. So I think that Rabbeinu Yonah and the Mabit are dealing with two different concepts. And what the Mabit means to say, as long as you're in the realm of normal human hishtadlus, that is the way you need to care for yourself and care for your family and care for your needs. And don't ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do neflois if there is no need for neflois. So sometimes in the life of every individual, of every person, yes, we ask for neflois. When a person is desperately ill and the doctors aren't sure that they have a cure, we must ask for neflois. And sometimes a person is in a desperate financial situation and he doesn't know how he could help himself, you ask for neflois. And many times in life, yes, we are entitled to ask for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Sheyazor v'yoshia b'nes b'pele. But as long as you're in the routine of life, don't ask for neflois, כשאנחנו יכולים להושיע עצמנו בדרך הטבע, says the Mabit. But even in the Derech HaTeva, you need Siyata D'Shmaya. So there's no contradiction, I think, between what the Beis Elokim says and what Rabbeinu Yonah says. And when Rabbeinu Yonah explains the posting B'chol Derochechu Dayehu, he doesn't emphasize tefillah. He emphasized the fundamental awareness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with you, and you need Him to be with you. And whatever you have, you only have Barachamav U'B'Chasodav HaGadolim. Goes without saying, if that is what you believe, you also daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, should give you Siyata D'Shmaya. But the emphasis of the Posuk B'chol Derochechu Dayehu is not only about tefillah, it's about Kirvus Elokim. So what Rabbeinu Yonah says, B'chol Derochechu Dayehu, V'hu Yiyasher Orchosecho, is about Kirvus Elokim, it's about Betochen, and not necessarily, and not exclusively about davening, but about being aware that a person cannot take anything on his own, and whatever he needs from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever he gets from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is the basic awareness and recognition that the Pasuk means when the Pasuk says, B'chol Derochecho Dayehu. B'chol Dovar Asher Atu Tevakesh Lasei Zechoyer Es Hashem Yizborach. Remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and remember that you need Him, and it is only He that could fulfill your needs, and that is one of the asoides of Avodas Elokim, the closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your daily routine, and not only when you stand before very monumental decisions and crises in your life. So that is the approach of Rabbeinu Yonah, explaining B'chol Derochechu Dayehu V'hu Yiyasher Orchosecho. So I said before that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not only a king, he's a father, and a father likes to be bothered. A father takes tremendous pleasure out of helping his children, and he doesn't feel that he's giving away. When he helps his children, it gives him immense fulfillment. So are we children or are we servants? In Brochas Daf Lamed Daled, that's a Machloekes Remeya v'Reb Yehuda. When are we defined bonim and when are we defined avodim? Because there are many psukim in Torah, Nevi'im, v'Ksivim in which we are bonim lamokim, and in other psukim we are avodim lamokim. So when? And that's a machlokes. Rav Yehuda says, "Bizman she'oisen retzoyin shel mokum kriyim bonim, bizman she'ein oisen retzoyin shel mokum kriyim avodim." Rav Meir says, "Ben kach uben kach kriyim bonim." So halacha keman, halacha keman. So usually Rav Meir Yehuda halacha keRav Yehuda. But the Rashba says here halacha keRav Meir, because there are many rayas from other sources that we are always considered bonim. So when we have a machlokes and nigla, the Mishnah Berurah brings from the Knesset Agdola Simachofei and Hilchas Tefillah that the Kabbalah is machriya. So in Brochas Lamed Daled, that's the machlokes Rav Meir v'Rav Yehuda. But the Zohar Kodesh in Parshas Bahar, and I quote the Zohar very often. And the Zohar says, when are we bonim? When are we avodim? The Zohar says we're always bonim and we're always avodim. We need to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu because we're bonim, and that is the nature of bonim. What defines the relationship between fathers and children, between children and fathers, is love, not awe. Yes, we do have a mitzvah of moira av ve'en, but that is not the natural state of things. Fathers love their children and children love their parents. We are to be in awe of HaKadosh Baruch Hu because we're avodim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our master. And the Zohar says those are shnei yesoides u'avoida, dechilu u'rechimu, ahava v'yira. Ahava was based on the fact that ovinu atu, and we are the children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and yira is based on the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a melech, and we are his slaves and servants. So the Zohar says we're always bonim and we're always avodim. So the Rashba, two different shuvas, Chelek Aleph Siman Kuf Tzadik Daled, and once again it's in Reish Mem Beis. The Rashba says halacha keRav Meir, ben kach uben kach kurim bonim. And it's very fundamental in our tefillas, the Haradosha, the feeling that we are children. And children are always entitled to turn to their parents and ask for help. And parents never turn their children away. So this psak of the Rashba, which is also substantiated by the Zohar, that Klal Yisrael is always bonim, and that is why in times of need, in times of desperation, that is the way we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We say, Ovinu Malkeinu. And we always put Ovinu before Malkeinu. We always say Ovinu Malkeinu. And in our tefillas in the Yom Neroim we say Im Kebonim, and only then we say Im Ka'avodim. So, in our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in our previous shir I explained that nothing tops tefillah to bring closeness and intimacy between every Yid and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that is the importance of tefillah, is avodah shebelev zi tefillah. So tefillah is 1 out of 613. But in avodah sukeil, it is number 1. Because in our tefillahs, we talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we plead with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens. So nothing is more intimate between every Yid and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in our tefillahs, we relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a father. And that is why we always feel we could turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nevertheless, before each of our 3 daily tefillahs, Shachris, Mincha, Maariv, we say a posuk in Tehillim. Hashem, Sefosai, Tiftach, Ufi, Yaged Te'ilosecha. Why is this the introduction to every tefillah? Why do we start every tefillah by saying Hashem Sefosai Tiflach Ufi Yaged Te'ilosecha? So Rashi, at the very Rashi in Tehillim, on this pasuk, Rashi says, Hashem Mechoyer la'avanoisai Kidei Shieli Pischoin Pe Lefonech. So yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our Father, and that is the way we feel. But He is also a King, and that also means something. So on one hand, we could always turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will always listen. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to hear our voices, and He wants us to daven. We don't burden Him with our tefillahs. But lest we forget that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also a King. And the relationship between a Yid and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is defined by duality. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a Father, but He's a King, and He gave us Taryag mitzvahs. And we are here not only to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but to fulfill our duty. And that is the difference between Jews and others. Yes, we have a mission to accomplish, we have a duty to perform, and we have a lot of work. V'azman kotzor v'hamalocha meruba. V'yesh din v'yesh dayin. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a King, and we are here to serve. So on one hand, we always feel close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as children turn to their Father. But we should not forget that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a King. And our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is defined by Ahava and Yira. Dechilu and Rechimu. And I don't really know why. I never figured this out. Why in the Zohar, Dechilu comes before Rechimu. Yira comes before Ahava. So in Chazal, and in the Sifra Musar, in Lashon Kodesh, we always say Ba'ava u'v'yira. But the Nusach in Zohar is Dechilu and Rechimu. I don't know why. Maybe one day I will. But Avo and Yira go together, and Dechilu and Rechimu go together. So yes, we have the courage, we feel we are always entitled to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But nevertheless, before we daven, we do say this pasuk: Hashem mechoil la'avenoisai kidei shi'eh li pischoin peh lefonech. Because when you turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you need to be ra'ui. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a King, and not everybody can come before the King. And that is why, before every tefillah that we daven, we say this pasuk: Hashem Sefosai Tiflach Ufi Yaged Te'ilosecha U'mechoil la'avanoisai Kidei Shi'eh Li Pischoin Peh Lefonech. So, coming back once again to the aside, which we try to elaborate on in today's tefillah. Rabbeinu Yoina im b'chol d'rochecho d'yehu v'hu yasha or p'nisech. One cannot take anything only miyad Hashem, and only b'chasodo hamarubim yizborach shemoy. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be part of our daily routine. He should be part and present in our life in every moment. And I think both Perushim, the Rambam and Rabbeinu Yoina, even though they emphasize two different things, two different fundamentals, but they boil down to the same. So the Rambam says a person has to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with everything he does. Rabbeinu Yoina emphasizes that Rav Asher Tefila Hashem Yisborach. And I think the point of Rabbeinu Yoina is not serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with everything we must do, but remembering Chazdei Hashem every moment of our life. But maybe these two ideas are two sides of the same coin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not there in the corner when you need Him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with you every moment. He helps you every moment, and you have to serve Him every moment. He needs to fill your life and to fill your presence. And He always needs to feel that He is walking. B'tzilo d'mehei menuso, b'tzilo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And everything we do should be dedicated to Avodas Hashem, to the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and what everything we need to understand and be aware and appreciate that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always with us, and therefore we always have to be with Him. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us every moment of our life. B'siyata d'shmaya, b'bona, b'chaya, b'mezoina. And Chazal teaches Al Kol Neshimo V'Neshimo Tahal El Kol. And that is the way Chazal interpret the Pasuk Kol HaNeshamo Tahal El Kol. And Chazal say Neshama is breath. Al Kol Neshima V'Neshima Tahal El Kol. A person doesn't do anything with so little effort as breathe. When he eats, he's aware that he's eating. He eats when he wants to eat, but breathing is one of the spontaneous functions that the human body does. A person doesn't need to plan to breathe, and he has no intention to breathe. You just breathe. You breathe because you breathe. That is what your body does without you even being aware of it. And even there, Chazal say, Al Kol Neshimo U'Neshimo Tahal El Kol. V'advorim kal v'choyma b'kol dover asher tevakesh laso yisechoyres Hashem Yisborach. If Chazal say we need to remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not only when you go out to the marketplace and you want to buy stuff, you breathe. You're not even aware that you're breathing. It is spontaneous. And you need to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for every breath. Kol aneshamo tahal al kol neshimo oneshimo tahal al kol. So Rav Asher teaches us HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us every moment of our lives. He is always with us, with every breath, with everything we need. And therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu demands that we be with Him every moment of our lives. So everything He bestows upon us should be dedicated to Avodas Elokim. And everything you do should be dedicated to Avodas Elokim. And that, when a Yid lives that way, Nimtza Oived Es Hashem Kol Yomam. So I think the combination of Rabbeinu Yonah and the Rambam, the two different emphasis on the Pasuk, I think they're two sides of the same coin, and they fill in one for the other. And it is only when we really appreciate what Rabbeinu Yonah teaches us and what the Rambam teaches us could we truly appreciate what the Gemara says at the end of Masechet Brochas, the Brochas the Samach Gimel. Eizoi parsha ktano shekol gufei toira tluyam bo v'chol drochecho de'ehu v'hu yiyashar archusecho. So I think this is very important. Miyitin, we should be able to live our lives with these feelings and these hergeshim, and to feel the Chazdei Hashem every moment of our life, and therefore to feel the closeness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to really appreciate our duty to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu every moment of our lives, with everything we do and with everything we have. Yerotzen Sheichel Ken Wemon. We should be so. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be Makabel Orlat Tfilas B'Kol Yoyim B'Yoyim. So the next year, Be'ez Hashem, we will probably start off with Kriya Shema and then Tfilas Ha'amidah.